Welcome back. Joining me now are Bob Stallman, president of the American Farm Bureau Federation, as well as chairman of the U.S. Farmers and Ranchers Alliance, Forrest Roberts, he's the CEO of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, and Brad Bella, a rancher from Throckmorton, Texas, who was featured in the documentary Farmland. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Thanks for having us.
You know, we're here today to talk a little bit about the United States Farmers and Ranchers Alliance and specifically what the organization is doing to rebuild trust in American agriculture. And I guess let's start with you, Bob. Tell us a little bit about USFRA and more importantly, what's the vision of the organization?
Well, we were formed in 2010, and all that was a result of this conversation that's going on in American society that, frankly, farmers and ranchers weren't being a sufficient part of. We wanted to be, and many of our organizations tried to be individually, but we just couldn't get the critical mass, the organization together to move the needle on what consumers were beginning to think about how their food was raised and grown. They were being influenced by forces and voices that were outside of agriculture, and that was not good for us. So we made a decision to come together, over 20 farmer and rancher-led producer groups in 2010, and it's hard to get farmers and ranchers to agree on anything. But we agreed that we needed to get together, pool our resources, come up with a very sharp strategic plan to move forward and maintain and increase that consumers' trust in what we do. So we had the opportunity, by pooling those resources, to do extensive consumer research, focus groups, to understand what it was consumers were wanting in this conversation. What we found out they did not want was for us to tell them what they should think. They wanted to have a conversation. They wanted to talk. They wanted to have their questions answered openly, honestly. They wanted transparency. They wanted to know that we shared their values. And after learning all that, then USFRA has been moving forward ever since then, crafting the programs and the platforms to accomplish that.
Well, you spoke of those 20 organizations. Forrest, I know NCBA is one of the organizations that makes up USFRA. Why is it important for NCBA and other organizations like it to be a part of this new organization?
Well, as Bob has outlined very well, that this whole effort is all a part of enhancing consumer trust in today's agriculture. And in order to do that, we need everyone at the table focused on one common outcome and speaking with one voice. From a beef perspective, we're highly vested in this entire effort, from our role as NCBA as a contractor to the Beef Checkoff program, to our role in coordinating with all the state beef councils across the U.S., and then also in our role as a member organization for beef producers. So it's our opportunity to work collaboratively together against this outcome that Bob outlined and work that in a way that is more productive than what we could do on our own. Because we have been doing that, but we weren't collectively speaking with one voice and really making the impact that we feel we need in order to enhance consumer trust in today's agriculture. So that's why it's important for the beef industry, as the largest segment of food and fiber here in agriculture, to be a part of that discussion.
And Bob, I'm familiar with some of the food dialogues you've done, but maybe you could highlight for our audience, what are some of the successes of USFRA thus far?
Well, we've had a number, hope to have many more. We kicked off with really a technologically savvy cross-country web dialogue, webinar, if you will. 4 locations simultaneously across the country interacting with each other. And it kicked off by Secretary Vilsack, the United States Department of Agriculture. And so we were very pleased with that. It started the conversation because we had, our critics were on the panels with us. We had a conversation about, some of these issues that had been raised and got different perspectives from different people. But it really stamped us as an organization that was willing to have an open and honest dialogue, which is the goal of what we're trying to do with consumers, and we want consumers to engage in that conversation with us.
That's outstanding.